So often we just boil things down in today's society. We don't have time for everything, and we just have time for the words and the text or whatever like that, without actually feeling the feeling that goes behind that. So that's why I'm excited we get to do this.
That's so good. And it's funny, like now I can see why Ramon is a center point to our friendship. If you guys don't know, my community knows Ramon Ray actually pretty well, so I shouldn't say that they don't know, but maybe you're listening for the first time and you don't know who Ramon Ray is, but he was the one who was the super connector that put us in contact, and I'm grateful for him. But we all have this electric energy. I can't imagine us all being in the same room. It would probably have a joy bomb would go off. So you guys are in for a treat today. And Darin, we're excited to learn, like I said, from you. And I'll tell your testimony, or I won't tell you your testimony because you know your testimony. I'll share your bio later with the community when I get off. But I want people to hear a bit about you, and I want it to be from your lens rather than just the bio format. So would you share a bit about how you became an award-winning marketing expert, how you have coached thousands of people in business and growth, and even this concept of communication that we were speaking to?
Yeah. And I know there's so many things I want to share right now. Just as you were saying, I want to tell that.
Let's go.
So for 30 years or so, I was actually a TV host, anchor, producer, reporter. Worked in the
TV
news.
That makes sense.
You're like, oh, he's a crazy TV person now. And I coached. As part of that, people would come on TV. I would coach them about their marketing, how to help them get their branding and their messaging, and how to get that across to people and get effective like that. So that was sort of my basic, my foundation in marketing and talking to people through like the lens of TV. Now I'll tell you a quick little transition story. After 30 some odd years in TV, I finally decided it was time for me to leave and to go and I was just going to be a speaker, professional keynote speakers and stuff. I had a very good friend who I knew from TV, and she said, I'm doing an event. I have a 3-day event. Come to my event and you'll learn some amazing stuff. And I went to her event, and it was a little, I don't know. I didn't even know what they were talking about. And I was sitting there, and then all of a sudden this guy got up and he started talking about a lot of the event had been a little bit more woo-woo than I was used to.
Yeah.
And I think guys are a little more concrete and not as woo-woo.
Yes.
So anyway, this guy got up and he started talking about marketing and email marketing and follow-up and all this stuff. And I'm like, I love what this guy's doing. I love his job. I love this company he's talking about. I love the messaging. I want this job. I want to do what he does. I want his job. I want to work for this company. I didn't know his boss happened to be sitting at the event as well, in the back of the room. And he saw me and he recognized me from TV, and he said, do you know who that is? He's talking to his other colleagues. That's Darin Adams from TV. I wish we could get him to work for us at Keep. So it was like God put us all in the right places. I never would have been there otherwise. And so
that's incredible. That just is a fun little seed out the gate, right? For people to realize, like, I think the desire of your heart is met, and sometimes so quickly, right? Now, I know there's those are listening, they're like, no, my desire has been, for 10 years, a decade, 20 years. God has not come through for me that fast. But it was like all of the pieces came together. And the forefront of that conversation was that you said yes to support a friend, regardless if you were going selfishly for an outcome or not. You said yes to get in the room. And I am really passionate about getting in the room with people, because you truly have no idea what to anticipate. And you were already in this career shift time. So it's cool that, like, your idea, God was like, let me make that a little bit bigger, a little bit better, and present you an opportunity that you couldn't have asked for.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing. Because I was thinking, I'm going this path. And then God's thinking, like, I don't think so. I have something else in mind for you. So let me arrange a few puzzle pieces here and then show you this is a little better path for you. So even though I had no intentions of doing that, it all fell into place and got me.
Interestingly, and I'd be curious to hear your perspective on this from a TV host perspective. I'm thinking about some of the people that I know, and also people like Dr. Phil and Oprah. Do they consider themselves an entrepreneur? Like, did you consider yourselves as the host an entrepreneur?
No.
Okay.
No, I never considered myself. I considered myself coaching entrepreneurs, because many times these people they'll say like, hey, I've got this business. I'm trying to get some exposure, get some marketing. I'm like, okay, come on TV. I'll help you. I'll do a story on you, whatever that might be. Cool. They were entrepreneurs, but I never considered myself an entrepreneur. And although I supported entrepreneurs, I actually I don't think deep down inside I was really an entrepreneur at heart. I think sometimes that takes a while to grow into it until you realize, oh, no, I guess I kind of am. I was still very much in the mentality of I work for a TV station, I work for a corporation, I work for these other people, and I'm just doing what they tell me to do, but I'm helping entrepreneurs. And then as I shifted and did now I sort of, although I'm not, well, I have some stuff I do, entrepreneurial stuff.
Okay. Yeah, because well, let's just say like who this parent company is that kind of attracted you from the forefront. And I think it's neat that a corporation or an entity such as this might sound really boring to some people, right? Like they're like, you were attracted to somebody talking about email marketing and communication, like the conversation's over. For me, it ignites me so much because like we said in the forefront of this conversation, it's a way to connect with someone through the interworld web, right? Across the world, but to be able to communicate in a fashion that also allows me to sleep and can be automated. So the company is Keep, KEAP.com. And I actually didn't know anything about it until Ramon introduced me to it. So I'm excited to hear more about it from a firsthand user and also a speaker and an advocate for it.
Yeah, Keep at the time was known as Infusionsoft, and it's shifted, and it's changed, and has grown. And he was talking about Keep, and I'm with you. I mean, it's sort of like tech. I'm like, I don't like tech, but then you realize that tech allows you to build greater relationships and greater friendships and follow up like you never would otherwise. Because I have such good intentions. I meet someone at an event, like, oh, let's do something. Let's find something we can work together. Let me buy your stuff. You buy whatever like that. I have great ideas. And then I go home and I forget all about that. And then all that stuff just goes out the window. And all these things, because I mean, we can speak a different language here because we can't all the time. But God puts people in your place, and you think, oh, good, this is a connection. This is something I can do. And then you forget it, and God's thinking, like, what are you doing? I lined things up for you, and you squandered and you didn't do it. So as much as I hate to even talk about the word tech, because then people think it's so techy.
Yeah, sure.
But this is simply a tool, a way to do follow-up and automate things so you can develop those relationships and you can follow up and you can encourage partnerships and you can do amazing stuff that you would never be able to do if you're just doing it all on your own. And that's what Keep allows people to do. And that's when I was sitting there and like, yes, I didn't like the fact that he was talking tech. I like this message. I like that they support entrepreneurs. I like the stuff they facilitate. That's what I fell in love with. That's what I wanted to be a part of. So
good. And it's just an extension of the career that you were already leading. So it's just like God using all of that stuff for good, but just shifting it into a new paradigm, if you will. One of the things I was thinking about, you mentioned it briefly, like people don't like to hear tech. And entrepreneurs often, they get stuck in the tech. They get stuck in the minutia of it. They get stuck in the overwhelm of it. They get stuck in the, even the limiting belief before they even touch the tech that Keep has created a lot of ease to. And they say, I'm bad at tech. Or they say, I don't need that. I'm just going to stay away from that tech. And yet we know that at least in America, 99.9% of people carry around a computer with them that they use tech on 99.9% of their day. And yet they're hindering something on the other end of that simply because of the idea of it. Can you help unpack that a bit and how there really is a lot of simplicity to it when it uses, like we're the user, it doesn't use us. And I think people get burnt by it thinking it's using me and I'm run dry.
Yeah, I think people have this like mental block thing when you talk tech, and like, oh, I'm not techie. I can't figure out how to do something. And then they tell themselves they're not techie. Yeah. And see, I hate even talking tech here because then people who are not techie, they go, oh, he's talking tech. I'm switching that up. I'm not listening to that guy.
Please don't. This is important.
Because that's the whole thing. We all embrace tech every single day. Yep. We just choose what tech we want to embrace. Yep. Like defrosting something in the microwave, that's tech. But we've decided we need to be able to do that. And so we do that. Or just operating a phone. Yep. The computer, and we've learned. Guess what? I'm jumping around here right now. You've gotten me so excited.
Same wavelength.
We choose to do that, embrace that tech, and we do it because we decided this is a tool. This is a resource that I want to have. I want to be able to text my family. I want to be able to send a photo of my child to someone. I want to defrost the chicken breast, all that kind of stuff. And so we decide, I want this outcome, so I'm going to learn this little bit of tech. And so that is exactly what it is. If you just decide, I want to grow my business.
Yeah.
I want to have better relationships. I want to follow up with people. I want to make more money. I want to grow and do all the things and expand and have the influence that I really know that I can and that God put in my heart to do this. Then guess what? You just need to embrace the little check. And you just say, I'm not going to get wigged out. I'm not going to say, oh, I can't do that check. You're just going to say, how can I do? What are some things that I can do